welcome to another worship breakdown. I'm Jonathan, and today we're going to be looking at yet another modern interpretation of a classic hymn. We're going to be looking at the song Come Thou Fount by King's Kaleidoscope. You can find this on their 2012 EP, Asaph's Arrows. It's a wonderful song, and that's a wonderful EP. There's a number of amazing reinterpretations of hymns on that album, so I highly recommend you go check that out. Also, if you haven't already started doing this, I would highly encourage you to add some of these modern interpretations to classic hymns into your set list, into your Sunday morning rotation. These are great. There's so many benefits for doing that. One is just the familiarity of the song. If you've got an older congregation, they already know many of the lyrics and the core melody of the song, and so bringing these in is going to be a much easier transition than say another just completely new song. Also, the theology that's contained in a lot of these older hymns, not all of them for sure, but a lot of these older hymns, there's just so much wealth of knowledge and growth that can be attained through these older hymns. And when you put them with a new melody or a new harmony, or give them a different chord structure and timing, they make them so much easier to sing and digest and hold on to throughout the week. So I would highly encourage you to do that. Go check out Sovereign Grace, Ascend the Hill, Reawaken Hymns, Shane and Shane. Wonderful resources for some amazing reinterpretations of older hymns. So definitely do that. But for today, we're going to be looking at this song, Come Thou Fount. The chords to it are fairly simple, fairly straightforward. It's not a 4-chord song, it's actually a 3-chord song, but it is in a 4-chord progression, and that's the entire song, is that one progression over and over again. What's tricky about this song is the rhythm and the timing for it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the chords briefly. I'm going to come over here, we're going to spend a little bit of time on the timing of this song, trying to get the feel for it. And then we'll zoom out. I'll show you a couple nifty little tricks that you can do to really bring out all the amazing things that they do in this song, all the texture, the dynamics of the song, and so that you can have a lot more fun with it as a guitarist. So let's zoom on in and we'll break down these chords. All right. So like I said, the chords of the song are relatively simple. All it is a 1 chord, a minor 6, and a 4 chord. And it just rotates through those over and over again. So in the key that they do this song, which is the key of E, those chords are, your 1 chord is an E, your minor 6 is a C sharp minor, and they use a C sharp minor 7. So they extend that chord out a little bit. And all it is taking that pinky off, right? So you do your bar chord, which is your A minor. Slide that up, find that C sharp. Go ahead and bar down there. Now you got a C sharp minor. Take that pinky off, bring that note back over here. C sharp minor 7. So that's your minor 6. And then you've got your A chord. However you want to manage that. Alright? And that's it. That's your 4. 1, minor 6, 4. And the way that they do this chord progression is E, 2 measures of E, 2 measures of C sharp minor 7, 2 measures of A, back to 2 measures of E. Now, since it repeats that throughout the entirety of the song, it's easy to get lost. And especially when you're doubling up the E, you've got an E at the beginning of this 4-chord progression and an E at the end, so you end up doubling up, right? It's easy to get lost, so you got to be paying attention to it. You got to be focused. But that's all it is. E, C sharp minor 7, and A. And that's for this particular key. The original key of the song was E flat. I like to sing it in E. That feels great with my voice if I'm leading it solo or if I'm just more performing than leading in worship or expecting congregational participation. I like the key of E, but we often do Come Thou Fount in the key of C or D. Those work pretty well. Renewing Worship, I think, has it in the key of C or D, one or the other. And those tend to work pretty well for most congregations. But play around with it, and as always, I'll have a little cheat sheet down below if you want to transpose it to a different key. So, with that being taken care of, let's turn it over this way, and let's look at this rhythm. Alright, so like I said, the rhythm of this song, the timing, is what's most difficult. Technically, it's a 4/4. Technically, it's in 4/4. But that's not what it feels like. That's not how it comes across as a 4/4. This is what I mean. Where the accents are in this song are a little bit different. So here's how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's where those accents are. So if you count all that up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, that's 8 eighth notes, or 4 quarter notes. So it's a 4/4. But again, it doesn't feel that way. And this is where I'm getting the rhythm of this song. If you listen to the beginning of the song where you can hear it more pronounced, the little synth organ thing that's happening in the background, that kind of gives you all you need on that timing. That's where when I was first learning this song, it's where I got the rhythm from, where I got the feeling, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Then you go back to the top. So again, that's where I got that feeling. That's where I really was able to lock into the feeling of the song. So how does that play out when you strum it? Because I'll show you that little riff, and you can do that for most of the song, but that doesn't give you a lot of options as far as dynamics. So we want to be able to strum along with it too to really expound on this song, expand upon it. So where does that leave us with strumming? Somewhere like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. That's one measure. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Okay. So you do that twice for every chord. It's 2 measures a chord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and play it nice and slow. I'm going to play through that whole chord progression. E, C sharp minor 7, A, E. I'm going to do it slow enough, and hopefully you can kind of work along with it. It's just 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and. Okay? So follow along with me. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and. it's really just those key downbeats there on those ones. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1. That's really all I'm focusing on. Everything else is just filling that space. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You can do it just as simply as that. Just doing some down strums. As long as you're accenting right there on those ones, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Everything else is just filler. It's just keeping the momentum going. It's just bringing the energy, right? So if you can't do all the down ups, just chuck along there on some down strums and just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and that'll do just fine. All right, let's zoom back out. I'm going to show you some really fun little things that you can do to add to this song, to get creative with it. All right. So as you heard me playing earlier, the beginning of this song starts out with a little synth organ sort of deal that's happening. And it's a very simple melody that's going on, and it's just highlighted by the bass notes, the root notes of the chords you're playing. So the basic melody is going to be this F sharp, right, to the G sharp. And this happens in time with that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And so that happens the whole time. That's the melody that's happening underneath. The little riff, I should say. It's not the melody. It's a melody. That's that whole thing. F sharp, G sharp. Okay. If you're doing this in another key, that's the 1. I mean, sorry, not the 1. That's the 2 to 3. Alright, in the key of E, so F sharp, then G sharp. It's your 2, 3. Okay, so that's what's happening. You do that for each chord. So what are the chords? E, C sharp, A. Then back to E. It takes a little bit of finger picking skill. You know, you got to get that thumb up there and then picking on that one string. But it's a really fun thing to do, especially if you want to add some dynamics, because the first 2 verses of the song, it rolls right in from that intro, that chord progression, into verse 1, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing, and then into verse 2, Here I Raise My Ebenezer. And so it starts off small, it does build. There is a dynamic change between verse 1 and verse 2, but not by much. Not by much. So you can play that little riff in verse 1 and 2. If you can, I know that can be a little bit tricky. But play around with it. It's fun to do, and it really sounds awesome. So that's during the verse 1 and 2. Then after that, it goes into this interlude, and that's usually where I break out the chords, because it helps that dynamic shift. Right. Another thing that you can do with those chords, especially if you're in the key of E, this really only works if you're in the key of E or if you're capoing up and using E-shaped chords, and that's this. So just a normal E chord here, then a C sharp minor 7 like this, then back down to an A, I've heard somebody explain like the key of E in terms of railroads, and you're just kind of on that track, right? It has to do with bar chords and understanding the theory behind bar chords. But the basics of it is you've got this E chord here, okay? What we're doing is we're leaving this open E open the whole time throughout all 3 chords, and we're leaving this B and this high E string open. Alright, B is the 5th of my E, so it's going to sound great. It's going to be beautiful harmonies. It'll be awesome. There's your E. So what we do is we come down here like we're playing a C sharp minor off of the E string. Same idea of a bar chord. You got your E minor. Bring it on down to where the C sharp's at. Alright, you got your C sharp minor chord. But again, we're going to leave this open and these two open. So what does that leave us? This right here. Ooh, if I can play it right. Alright, so you got that finger there on the 9th fret. These two over here on the 11th. And what's interesting is when you do that, it leaves this B open, which is the missing part of our C sharp minor 7. That's the 7th in C sharp minor. So it makes it a C sharp minor 7. And you get this awesome droning sound. And then we do the same thing for an A chord. A normal A bar chord would be here, A major, E major, find your A note, boom. But we're going to leave this string open, and then these two strings down here open. So we get this A, and it's actually an A2, because B is the 2 of A. It has this nice droning sound, so... really a lot of fun. So I hope that helps. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like, leave a comment. If you want me to do more songs from that album, from Ascend the Hill, I know that album, as far as the chord charts go, it can be kind of scarce. So let me know if there's some more songs that you'd like to hear me do from that album specifically, or any other modern interpretations of hymns that you'd like to do, that you'd like me to do. Also, yeah, click that notification bell, because here soon I'm going to be starting another playlist on the channel dedicated just to looking at the theology behind a lot of these songs. You know, we want to be tackling our services like a liturgical dietitian, as Zac Hicks would say. It's a wonderful book called The Worship Pastor. We want to approach it like a theological dietitian. And so we want to look at these songs and see what are the macronutrients in it. What are the good and the bad? What positives do we get? Where does this fit into our balanced diet as a worship leader? How can we fit some of these songs in to make the most healthy congregation, or the healthiest congregation that we can? And so we're going to be looking at a lot of these songs and picking them apart and seeing what kind of nutrition we get from them, what kind of spiritual nutrition we can find in these songs. So be sure to click the notification bell, comment, subscribe, share it around. Yeah, and enjoy. I'll see you next time.